Hello everybody, in this video we'll take a look at Countess in Predecessor introduced in patch 0.2. Now she's assigned as a solo laner, a mid laner, but keep in mind she can also be used as the jungle in my opinion, but I haven't tried it just yet. Although this video will focus on mid lane, but keep in mind she is good for solo lane and recommended for that lane as well. Now I have to admit that having a strong melee character for mid lane compared to other range mage that I usually play, I mean this is a really nice option. Now if you play the original Paragon game, you probably already remember her really annoying shout when she ults. So again, for better or for worse, this ult still exists in Predecessor. Now in terms of abilities, she is good in clearing minions, but her main focus is on single target executions. Her Q ability allows her to quickly engage onto enemy from far, and if you press Q again, get back to where you actually initiated it. That's one reason she is kind of ranked higher for mobility. Now veteran is great when you're attacking several enemies, can be heroes, but mostly again when you want to clear up lane faster, this ability becomes very useful. And the reason is very important because you want to clear lane faster, especially again in mid lane, so you can actually help out other lanes as well. She also has basic attack, but keep in mind this deals physical damage, so you won't get actually enjoy extra buff if you use items that increase your magical damage. Now Blade Siphon is an amazing ability, especially useful again for when you are starting the mid lane, because it allows you to both deal damage when you're surrounded with minions, deal 360 damage all around you, and also heal yourself for, as you can see, depends on the level, per target hit. Now the reason you want to kill with her is because you can see hero takedowns permanently grant 2% magical life steal, stacking up to 10 times. So this is permanent and it stacks as well. So basically the more enemies you kill, the more devastating you actually get. And because of all this ability and mobility, she's good for the solo lane, she's good for mid, and also for the jungle as well. And if you look at Shadow Sleep, you can see that you deal 3 times the damage if you are attacking minions and non-epic monsters. But keep in mind, she is squishy, especially early on, so watch out. And of course your ultimate ability where you jump onto enemies from a bit far and suppress them, so it's not actually being affected by tenacity. So basically tenacity is your resilience to crowd control effect. So basically the higher the tenacity, the more resilient you are, so this actually bypasses that. And the higher damage you deal, as you can see, also heals you 50% of the damage dealt, so you also should focus on also dealing lots of damage with your build. And also as you can see that you don't deal plus 10% plus, of course, based on the damage on the target's maximum health. So you can be very good as well where enemies are quite tanky. Now keep in mind when dealing mid against range, I recommend being aggressive and poke the enemies a lot. Make it ready, by the way, for the jungle to finish them. And especially when you have minions around, you can be very aggressive. Because remember, you have Blade Siphon, we give you the ability to heal, depends on how many enemies you hit. Alright, this includes of course minions and heroes. And this becomes even better, as you can see, against heroes the healing is increased by 400%. So your safest place is actually, especially as a melee character, is near minions and near the enemy, and try to again deal damage to them while healing at the same time. And again, after you're pushing your lane, make sure to harass a lot the other enemies in the other lanes, because you are close to them, again, because you are in mid, do it frequently. And remember, you want those kills because you want to get that extra lifesteal on takedowns. But keep in mind, make sure to poke a lot, especially in the middle, to allow your jungle to finish the enemy fast. Otherwise, again, they can just escape. But remember, you can always use Shadow Sleep if you have an option to get the last hit, because again, it allows you to close distance and still deal damage, as you can see here. And if you time it right, within 4 seconds, you can actually get back before the time you actually enter the tower, so you can execute and safely get out. I didn't do it here, but it was an option.
First blood.
Now one thing I like about playing with Countess is because I feel I can be like a jungle, you know, I feel safe when actually roaming the jungle and searching for single targets, while still enjoying, you know, just, you know, having fun in mid lane and changing legs, supporting other lanes as well. So unlike some other mid laners, you know, you feel more confident with her to attack single targets. So if you're playing solo lane, you can actually time it right and being very aggressive and just go back, you know, before getting hit. So you can really harass and poke and lower the health of your enemies with actually not risking a lot because of this extra mobility advantage that you have. You can just do it behind corners and basically from a safe area, and then you blink back, enemies can actually see where you are because you just came behind the corner. And if you're attacking, for example, from above, from an elevation place, you can jump down, attack, and then, time it right so you can get back to where you were before. So again, the more you play with it, the more you realize the advantages, timing, and place it, you can use it to make the best of it. Now keep in mind that you can actually press Q and start the timer and close on enemy, and then do any other ability, whatever you want to, for example, like ulting, and then press Q again to go back. Take a look. Q, ulting, Q again, getting back. So again, the timer remains active while you're using other abilities. Now keep in mind, when you do the Q, she has kind of a pose like Gidon when she puts, for example, her swords in front of her. This actually signals the enemy that you're about to execute this move, so don't do this very often. Use it when you want to use it, but if you do it way before, enemies will just get back because they know you're about to execute that particular move. Now another thing to know that your ultimate ability doesn't have the range. You need to be very close to enemies. If you want to execute them from far and close distance, use your Q ability, not your ult. And if you want to execute the enemy on the tower, you should do something like Q, R, again, R there is the ultimate, and then Q back, or Q, R, and then right mouse button to heal, just to kind of lower the damage, and if there are minions there, you're gonna heal, and then Q again to get back. So again, if enemies are pretty low, you can execute them quite safely if you are entering the tower because you have escape option and ability to do lots of damage to a single target. Now, like Faye, by the way, you can actually level up with her very fast. Even better, because again, you can clear minion very fast. You can even get some of the single targets, like from the jungle, if there's an opportunity. So basically, you can level up very fast, become very, very powerful, and basically, again, enjoy being able to take down enemies and enjoy the extra buff that you get with it. Keep in mind, especially if you're shielded, you can actually deal even with two enemies at the same time. Again, especially if they're close to each other, you can just heal. Because again, you get 400% extra healing, and of course you're very strong against single target. Now at the beginning I made a mistake by pressing Q at the same time. Don't do it. As you can see, I'm closing an enemy, but I pressed Q, so instead of eliminating the enemy, I just got back to the original location. Keep in mind, don't spam it, because if you do, you're gonna make a mistake like that. Luckily for me, I was able to correct it. So there's so many things that I do with her I wouldn't do in the other mid lanes, like attacking in the tower and making sure I get elimination. Even enemies have quite a bit of health there. Engage with Grux if he has the balls. Yeah, but they're running away from me. Fight against, again, head-to-head against the toughest enemies in Predecessor, especially when there are allies nearby, and being able to do lots of damage and take them down fast. And jumping into a fight where there are many enemies, it's a heaven for her because of her healing abilities, something I wouldn't do with most of the mid laners. And somebody can finally harass Chimera in its own domain in the jungle. And if you do try to bring him closer to the minions, again, because you have advantage there, because again, if you use your ability, you can actually heal with both attacking him and the minions. Now keep in mind, as an assassin, you really want to focus on increasing your magical damage and having magical damage penetration, because this ability really allows you to execute targets very, very fast. But again, keep in mind, she is squishy, and if you want to kind of squeeze out more, especially in team fights, you want to have the extra defense that will help you out sustain more damage. Now also having movement speed, extra movement speed is very useful. You can catch up on enemies that try to run away from you or need an ability to slow you down. You can catch up with them and blink on them so you can eliminate them. So movement speed can also be very useful for assassins. And aside from that, is also very useful for you because you can change lane more often, especially when you are a mid laner, you want to move to other lanes quickly as possible. Harass, go back to your lane can be very useful, or support other lanes when they need support to clear minions. Anyway, it's a great option to have extra movement speed. So as you can see, Countess, well, she is liked for a reason. Because the way you actually play with her, you can be very strong against single targets. You can use her both in mid lane and solo lane and feel confident because of her mobility and ability to escape. I mean, the ability to just blink on enemies and then go back 4 seconds back reminds you of kind of a Tracer in Overwatch, if you know what I mean. So you can really kind of poke, go back, and even get back to a location when enemies can even locate you. And such a dynamic game, this extra versatility is very important. And again, she becomes even more devastating the more you get skill with her and, try to, execute your skills at the right time, the right position, and also use your Q ability in order to disengage and engage from battle. Can be very, very devastating in the right hands. Now, as aside from that, she's really fun to play, and the cool thing about it, again, she can be in different roles, and you find that her extra mobility really gives you an edge at certain points when other mid-range fails, so you feel confident in being a melee. Although squishy, you have different options to, again, engage and disengage as well. So well, a really fun one, and I hope you enjoyed this guide. Again, more advanced guide will follow, so make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this one a little like. And if you favor other characters, other lanes, make sure to check out all my guides. There are plenty of them out there on my channel, and I see you very soon on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, hope to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me?